Welcome to the I Love Coaching podcast, the show where we help coaches, entrepreneurs, and leaders build businesses that create massive impact. I'm Adam Roach, alongside my incredible co-host,
Jess Webber, and we're here today to bring you the best strategies, mindset shifts, and real-life success stories to help you level up in your coaching journey.
Whether you're launching your coaching business, scaling to 6 or 7 figures, or just looking for inspiration to push through, this podcast is your go-to resource.
We're bringing you expert insights, real talk, and actionable items every single episode. So if you're ready to take your coaching game to the next level,
then let's dive on in. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the I Love Coaching podcast. Adam Roach here along with
Jess Webber.
That's right. Jess, happy Valentine's Day. I know we're not supposed to put a stamp on when these podcasts are recorded, but happy Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day.
Thanks. Same to you. And happy belated birthday, since that was yesterday for you.
It was yesterday. Yes, thank you very much. We had a great day. Dana whipped up an amazing dinner. Have you ever seen her homemade Pop-Tarts?
I have not. You've told me about them several times.
My goodness. So growing up, this is hilarious because we're going to be talking about health today. Growing up, I used to love like the brown sugar Pop-Tarts. Do you remember those? I don't know if you ever saw. So on Instagram, somewhere, some way, shape, or form, I saw what Dana makes with these pastry Pop-Tarts, a brown sugar one. And I'd sent it to her a long time ago, and she made it for my birthday last night. And Coach Allen, if you're listening, I did have a little bite. I did. It was so good. Okay. Enough of that. It was an amazing birthday, amazing Valentine's Day. Let's go. What are we talking about today?
We are talking about consistency and actually putting in the reps, because we've had several conversations now the last few episodes, and we even had an episode drop with Coach Allen, our fitness coach for both you and I. And I think it's a relevant conversation to have following our conversations on imposter syndrome and everything else. So
Agreed.
I wanted to talk with you about consistency and putting in the reps, and what does that mean in terms of anything in life. So it could be your coaching business. It could be you being an entrepreneur and needing to lead generate for clients. It could be, pretty much anything. This word of consistency is applicable.
Yeah. So gosh, we can take this so many different directions though. Let's start with what the word commitment means though, right? So in my mind, to build consistency, you have to understand what it is you're committing to for your tomorrow self. But we got to break down the word commitment first, right?
Yeah.
To get to consistency, we have to break down the word commitment. And I want to share a definition here that a mentor of mine gave me probably 25 years ago. And here it is. Commitment is this definition: doing the thing you said you would do long after the original mood you set it in had left you. So I'm going to repeat that. Consistency is doing the thing you said you would do long after the original mood you set it in has left you, right? So that is commitment, and consistency then is following through with your commitment, right?
I love that language around that, because the other thing that it implies is that you have some sort of future goal. It's not just something in the moment,
right,
but it's you're working towards something else, and you're committed to the process along the way. It is not just, hey, I want this thing to happen and it'll be complete when it happens, but it really truly discusses the journey in the middle.
And you can't get there without knowing your tomorrow, or at least having a vision for your tomorrow. You really can't.
Yeah, we've had a whole series on goal setting and vision casting and future self. And I think this is another great add-on to that as well, because to have a fulfilled life, you have to have something bigger than yourself that you're working towards. I mean, truly, I feel like the people that are the happiest are the ones that set and achieve goals for themselves that go beyond their day-to-day needs.
Yep. For sure. So we're talking about the word consistency. And I mean, let's just be funny and silly for a second. We're consistent with this podcast. Why? Because we love providing, well, let's just be honest. We love having a conversation back and forth. And that's what this really is. We're having a conversation, and listeners, you get to be privy to this conversation. How about that? And second of all, let's talk about consistency. And now I'm just going to be a jerk for a minute. Riverside is consistently bad for us. And that's why we're wearing headphones today, because it just continues to break on us and we're having to wear headphones, which I can barely hear myself talk right now because these noise cancelings are driving me crazy. Sorry, little tangent right there. Though consistency, right? Consistency. You got to stick with something. Let's talk about, Jess, let's talk about health for a second in the consistency space.
Okay.
Let's talk about that. You know, in the world today, well, let's just take our world as an example. So last year, we were connected to Coach Alan Dick. That's D-Y-C-K for those that want to go follow him on Instagram. And I was connected to him originally through coaching with Dan Martell. And Dan was the one who actually set up this consistency in the health space for me. And what I mean by that is I've been an athlete my entire life. I jokingly tell Dana, well, not jokingly, pretty egotistically tell Dana all the time, I'm like a pure athlete, right? Even though I'm now 48 years old, I'm still a pure athlete, right? And Dan said this. He said, if you are consistently, there's our word, saying that I'm an athlete, but then you look at yourself in the mirror and you look nothing like an athlete with your clothes off, what are you doing, right? Really, what are you doing? And so sure, there is some vanity there, though at the end of the day, that's when Alan came into our world. And Alan really started to teach the consistency space of what to eat, how to work out, and how to align that with your future self. Mm-hmm. And so now we've been working with him for, has it been no, it has not been a year yet. Actually, I can tell you exactly. Today is day, from a consistency standpoint, working with Alan, day 259.
That's awesome.
Because I may or may not track it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you are habitual when it comes to tracking, which is a unique thing to you. And yet I love that about you, whether it's health or the business or anything else. The consistent tracking helps us have better conversations as a partnership and a pair running a business. And so just like it helps us in the business, it helps us in that health space. And you're right. What's been fascinating about working with somebody like Alan over so many other health or fitness people is he has built something that teaches you commitment and consistency, and something that you do every single day, where so many others in that space will say, hey, you need to do this 3 times a week, or you need to do this in a few hours of the day, but not the whole day. Here's your path and your plan. And that is the beauty of having somebody who understands the end goal with you and where you are now and what you need to bridge that gap. And so, you know, you had a very different fitness goal than I did. Mine was related more to blood work numbers and health that way than it was looking like a pro tennis player when I looked in the mirror. And yet, you know, I also have lots of fun things. I have Ehlers-Danlos, which is a connective tissue disorder. So, you know, my fun party trick is twisting my feet entirely backwards without.
If y'all haven't seen that, you have to see this. Hold on. Say it again. Explain what you can do. This is a party trick beyond party trick.
You said you wanted to go fun. So here you go.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing.
So I was born without hip sockets, and then the rest of my tendons and ligaments in my legs are extremely long. And so therefore every joint in my body is loose. And so I can stand on one foot and twist the other foot entirely backwards. So I literally have heel to toe on both feet. And I can even walk across the room like that if I really want.
I've seen this. Yes.
Fun party trick. No alcohol necessary. Just entertain.
Yeah, for sure. It's incredible. Yeah,
but that's the thing is the reason I bring that up is not to sit there and ask people to have me twist my feet backwards, but it's truly to have this conversation around finding the right who to help you achieve your goal. Because I have worked with not even tens, probably hundreds of physical therapists over my lifetime because of trying to deal with injury and pain and all this stuff. I've worked with multiple coaches in terms of fitness and nutrition, and I felt like nobody understood my uniqueness. And so it was a really frustrating thing. So I've always been heavier because I can't go do normal cardio. I can't do heavy weightlifting. I can't eat certain things because I react to them. I've got a lot of fun other stuff on the food side that I'm reactive to. And so it's like one of those things where I couldn't find anybody that got it. And so they'd just be like, well, you're not consistent in your habits. I was like, I've done this and this, and I can prove to you, and I would still stay big. I would still not lose weight. I would still have bad blood numbers, and it was driving me insane. I met Alan through you, and I told him all my things, and I said, do you feel like what you do is something that could work within my parameters? And he was like, hell yeah. Mr. Confident, which I love about him. He was like, I've got this. I can do this. My program is built to be adjusted for people based on their needs and help them bridge that gap. And so, I did the cleanse. He's helped me with my custom workouts and my custom food plan to accommodate my chaos. And I've lost 45 pounds since working with him. And I still have more to do, but it's like, I've never been as small as I am now as an adult.
So good.
And nobody's ever gotten it. And yet it's something that fits into my busy entrepreneurial life. It fits into being a mom of a small, tiny human who also has a heart condition and has extra needs. So there's no excuse for not doing the thing because it's a simple, consistent thing every day and it fits into the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I love that word consistency and that word commitment, because you can commit to something when it helps you habitually change in a way that feels comfortable and natural. And it's not something that, just seems so outlandish. It's not going to be sustainable.
Well, and here's why this works for you. And I believe our listeners need to get to this point too. By the way, I have a grapefruit right here. So Alan, if you're listening, I have my grapefruit right here.
Hey, cantaloupe, baby.
Which actually should have been consumed this morning, though it hasn't been yet. Is we coach the coaches this way in a problem solution cycle, right? So the problem solution cycle is, okay, you have a problem that you have solved before, and there are many people out there in the world that have that same problem. And if you're a coach, you can go solve that for them and you can build a business around that. Though what I heard you say was the very similar thing. You had a challenge that no one could really solve the problem the way you wanted it solved. So you consistently searched for solutions and now have found a solution in Alan based on his methodologies that align with your desired outcome. So now it's up to you to stay this path. Well, stay this path means be consistent with the way he's coaching you. Be consistent with the way that he is sharing you solutions. And then it's up to you, though, to follow through with that. He can show you, he can give you. You're the one that has to eat it. You're the one who has to do the exercise. And that's where the consistency comes in. And Jess, I'm going to be probably an asshole right here and be direct. That's where a high percentage of people fail.
Well, in whatever you just said, all those things, the word that was missing, I felt like, was the word action. So I don't think you're being an asshole. I think you're being honest and candid about the fact that people can sit there and purchase, like Alan has an amazing group coaching program. So if you're listening and you're like, oh my God,
we're going to put it in the show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes, all the things, but
we get no kickback from this. This is because he has changed our lives, and he's changed so many coaches in the community's lives because he's taught them how to be consistent in this one space that even if I'm just saying this, you just stay consistent, right? You just stay consistent. Yeah, keep going, Jess. I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. So what I was saying was the word that was missing was action. Because you can purchase a solution to a problem.
Yes.
You can purchase Alan's program. You can purchase services for your business, whatever the thing may be. But unless action is taken consistently, you won't see the results. And so I think that's the word that we haven't touched on in relation to this, the way that we need to. And we can even talk about it in terms of like what we do in the business framework with like our L10s and all of that as well, just like you're tracking. It's a habit. It's an action you're taking to drive the goal forward.
That's right. And that's why I gave the definition of commitment, because you have to know your commitment. Now, as I said, we started the podcast being silly. I had a little bite of this amazing Pop-Tart that Dana made last night. Was that on Alan's menu? No, it was not. Okay. So what happens? Do I completely just fall off the rails because I had a little bite of Pop-Tart? No, the answer is absolutely not. It was a choice that I made at that moment in time Actually, you know what today is? Today is 365, Jess. 365 today. And again, there's no right or wrong. There was no real reason to do this other than learning to stay even healthier in my space. I haven't had a drink of alcohol for 365 days as of today.
That's awesome.
Last year on my birthday, I had a glass of wine. We were in West Palm Beach, and Dana and I just chose to not have another drink, and we haven't had a drink since. So there's some consistency there that we have environments. We can put ourselves in environments that allow us to cheat, if we will, but you get right back on it, right? You get right back on it, and you get back to your consistent action so that you can ultimately get to the desired goal that you want.
Well, you said another word that triggered one of my favorite books to come to mind, because we all know I can't stop reading. But you said the word environment. And I think that's another element to this conversation that's so key as well, is to help yourself stay consistent and help yourself take those actions that you need to take. You do have to set up the right environment. And so the book that I'm thinking about is Dr. Benjamin Hardy, Willpower Doesn't Work. And that's the entire premise of this book. Like, if I'm going to boil it down to a thing, is that willpower doesn't work. It's environment that works for you or against you. And so if you are struggling as a coach, as an entrepreneur, whether it's in business, in health, in financials, the first action that you have to take to help you stay consistent is to set up the environment appropriately. Yep. Remove the problems. So for you, Adam, it's removing the Pop-Tarts and the alcohol, which makes it weird. But you know what?
Alcohol is fine. The environment is actually filled with so much bourbon right now that I haven't even thought about.
There you go. Okay, so it's removing the Pop-Tarts.
It's the fake M&Ms. No, it's the fake M&Ms. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the fake M&Ms.
So it's removing the fake M&Ms for you in terms of a health space, right? In terms of a business space, it's removing the visionary ideas and staying on a path of commitment towards the goal that we've defined as a partnership for this company. Mm-hmm. Because I know this happens so often with coaches and entrepreneurs in our world. We find somebody who has big vision, big goals. They're like, great, I want to do this. You know, they get a clear sense of the path they need to take. We can even outline it. We can put timelines on it. We can do all the things. They start taking action until a new idea happens. And then they rabbit trail, right? Yep. And so part of the environment, I
want to put a little caveat to that. If that's you, and that's most entrepreneurs, because most entrepreneurs are great at starting, entrepreneurs suck at closing or finishing. If you're saying yes to something else, here it is. You don't believe the first thing you said yes to will happen. I believe that 100%. If you are saying yes to other things and the first thing you said yes to isn't finished, you don't believe you'll get to the first one. That's why you're starting the second one.
That's good. Yep. You stopped the train of thought, man.
I know. I apologize. I want to put that in there because it's so true. If we pay attention to getting derailed or having diluted focus, it's because you don't believe you can stay consistent on that one path to have the success that you want.
No. So you were saying that you don't believe if you get distracted, diluted focus. I think all of that is completely true. And that's kind of where that thought was a few seconds ago, was so often entrepreneurs get excited. They start something and then they think of a new idea that they think will put them ahead of the old idea or make them more money or it's just novelty. And that's what I was headed is honestly doing the same thing over and over again to achieve the result may start to feel boring, which those people with ADHD, especially, that's when it suddenly becomes a non-preferred activity. And then it becomes that much more difficult to achieve. So circling way back, creating the environment where the habit becomes something that you don't even have to think about and the action becomes something that doesn't take as much effort. That's when you will find that the consistency is simple. The consistency is easy and you actually achieve the goal. And so I think it's super important to start with environment, to have clarity on where you're going, and then create the habitual actions that are going to get you there and bridge that gap in a way that it doesn't take much effort.
Yep. I love that. So I want to go back to the environment real quick because I believe that's 100% of the 100% of the reason why most people don't stay consistent is their environment. Though if we're talking about the health space, and I love the willpower space, is I don't remember who said this, though you can't always slay the dragon. right? You cannot always slay the dragons. We jokingly say that brand, I think it's called Real, it's at Whole Foods, that are the little M&Ms that Dana buys. That's a dragon. For me, that is a dragon, and I can't slay that dragon, right? Now, in the mornings, I can slay the dragon. In the afternoons, if it's usually before noon, I can slay the dragon. But come 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, post 5 o'clock, that dragon sitting right there, that fire-breathing dragon is going to burn my ass. And I'll just sit there and eat some of those little M's, right? And that's the same thing about willpower, is it's not on will call, right? So remove the dragons, because you will always lose against the dragons.
Either remove the dragons or create the environment that helps slay the dragon for you if you're not doing it yourself. So to go full nerd and full fantasy, if you can't slay the dragon with your sword in your hand, create a freaking trebuchet and lob, fiery rocks at it.
I don't even know what that means. Is that like a
catapult? Yeah,
catapult.
Yeah,
catapult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you call it?
Sorry.
French? It's French.
Point big.
Freaking French now.
I went full nerd and I lost Adam.
Good. Trebuchet. I've never even heard that word. Trebuchet. Huh. Is there like an accente goo on there? Is that like that little squiggly line on the E? No? Oh, okay.
Trebuchet. Yeah. No, but point being, create something in the environment that helps you slay the dragon if you can't remove the dragon. So the first step would be, hey, Dana, don't buy me any more of these real M&Ms.
That's
don't have them in the house. If not, then you got to create something that stops you. So put them in a place that you can't reach them. Write yourself a sticky note that says, do you really need these before you open them? Whatever the thing is that you need to add to it to trigger the snap, I really need to not touch these. I need to slay the dragon.
Right.
Is such a key thing there.
Okay, now I'm not going to bring any old English into my language. I don't even know what that was, but that was really cool. Here's the other thing, right? I'm going to stay in the health space. I'm going to stay in the dessert space. You're doing a great job of the framework. I'm just going to keep filling it with content right here. Stop, if we're talking about health and we're talking about sweets, stop rewarding yourself with sweets, right?
Yeah.
Stop rewarding yourself with a candy bar or with the fake M&Ms, right? So many times throughout our life, we've been rewarded. Good job, kid. Let's go get an ice cream cone. Good job. Let's go to Dairy Queen and get a Blizzard. Gosh, that sounds so good right now. Good job. Let's go have, whatever. It's your birthday. Go have a piece of cake. You're rewarding yourself with that. I think if you want to stay consistent in a space, and if it's health or if it's business, whatever it is, add rewards, right? Add rewards that are non-food based. Add rewards that are, and I think we've done a podcast on this, add rewards that are tangible that you can actually have and go get, that then reminds you of your commitment to whatever that was that you achieved that reward.
Well, so to add to that, what happens when you use food as a reward is it's an instant gratification reward.
Yes.
And what Adam is saying, or what I'm hearing and reading between the lines, is you need to get delayed gratification rewards that then extend the gratification long term. You don't want something that's momentary. You want something that lasts.
Yeah.
And so, if it's a health space, like one thing that's been fun about losing weight, but I also hate it, is I have to go shopping all the time because every time I pull something out of my closet, I realize that I am smaller and it does not fit. And I've had the same closet since I turned like 18. So 20 years of the same clothes and the same size. I literally have to retrain my brain how to go look in different parts of stores now. And look at different sizes online and all of that, which is weird AF, but it is what it is. But that's a longer term gratification of, I get to go buy a new wardrobe. Then I'm going to go eat a handful of items because I just weighed in at the goal weight that I had, right?
That's right.
Or I'm going to eat that piece of cake because I earned the right because I did all my workouts this week.
That's right.
And so I think part of the environment setup, to go back to that and related to that, is defining your long-term rewards and making sure that they align with the goal, but they also are not something instant.
Yeah, that's really, really good. So let's put a bow on this. Let's land this plane. Let's talk about post achieving a reward and moving to something new and creating a whole new consistency thing. So I'll give you an example. So I've given myself 365 days with Alan here to see and know what's going to be on the other side. And as I mentioned, today is day 259. Okay, so we're less than 100 days approaching the end. And I'm really excited because the change has been dramatic, both physical, mentally, emotionally, in the health space. It's blood work is fantastic. All my doctors are happy, which is great. And life is good. Now we're going to have something that comes to an end though, right? So what happens next? We've been really consistent, Jess, and now we get to start something new. What do we bring from this past to now continue and create something new in the consistency space? What would you say?
Well, I think you bring an awareness, if you're self-reflective at all, of what worked and what didn't work in that space in terms of your environment, your actions, your who's, your behaviors. You also know what rewards work and what don't, because the other thing there is you should have benchmark rewards, not just the full one, because you need to create a series of wins for yourself and not just the one big one. So, Adam didn't just buy himself a Lambo because he hit 365 days with Alan, right? But you can have smaller rewards along the way and then say, hey, I'm going to buy the Lambo if I've done this thing. And if I save the money from not buying the for so long that I now have a down payment on a Lambo, then I think that's a fan-freaking-tastic reward, right?
Yep. For sure. My tangible reward from that big status would be like a beach house or something, right?
There you go. But those are
investment property, yeah.
Long-term gratification things, right. And they're not a bag of M's. But I think to me, you're bringing forward an awareness, and then I think that helps you be more intentional with the next goal you set. So I think that it gives you clarity, because I know you used that word earlier, and that's been hanging in my head, of when you do this consistently, clarity comes, right? And it's not just clarity from like a cleaner diet or a lack of alcohol or whatever you've done in the health space, but even in the business space, when you stay on track with a goal, it gives you clarity and it helps you say no to the wrong things and say yes to the right things. And you tend to hit the goal faster. And so it gives you momentum towards the next thing, and it allows you to scale or even exponentially increase the next goal, which I love so much as well. So consistency breeds momentum and opportunity for more faster.
Yeah, that's so good. So great topic today: consistency, commitment, the framework there, or clarity, the framework around the how-tos, the slaying of the dragon. Gosh, great stuff, Jess. Some old English terminology in there. That was really, really good. Though, in all seriousness, and this episode did not start this way, and it hasn't been framed out that we want to go promote Alan, though I do want to promote Alan, right? Alan Dyck, D-Y-C-K. You can go find him on Instagram right now. If you are looking to better yourself, I'm just going to put it that way. If you are looking to better yourself in the space of fitness, health, nutrition, Alan has done wonders for me. Alan has done wonders for Jess. Alan has done wonders for the coaches in our community. He spoke at the summit last year. I have seen Alan do many things to many people. And Jess, I highly, highly, highly recommend all of our listeners. We'll put in the show notes. We'll put it somewhere. Reach out to Alan. Talk to Alan. I think he's launching a new something or other coming up. And it's a fraction of what we have paid. And it's totally worth your time.
100%. And I'll add this to that. When you get right physically, right, it helps you mentally, and it spills over into every other aspect. So if you're struggling with consistency in your business, if you're struggling with consistency financially, if you're struggling consistently in other places in your life, I would challenge you to go get consistent in your personal space, your health space first.
That's right. Yep.
Because that, again, will help you overcome a lot of those hurdles that may keep creeping in and set you up for success in the other spaces as well. So again, not an Alan plug, but totally an Alan plug.
Totally an Alan plug, yeah. No, I mean, he's a coach, right? And this is the I Love Coaching community. He's in the coaching community. So I want to plug Alan and do that. Yep, for sure.
Love it.
Okay. All right, everybody. Go check it out. Go check out the show notes. Go find Alan, Coach Alan Dyck, D-Y-C-K, and change yourself, right? Change it. Go build some consistency, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Adam.